Hi, and welcome to Conectados, a weekly space where we connect with resources, with technology, with ideas, with neighbors, with stories, and much more. I am your host, Cris Oviedo, and I am very happy to be with you today. Conectados is a space that looks to connect us to one another and bring us together. And today we're connecting with our weekly financial wellness segment, a real estate tip of the week. We're also joined by Comptroller Lierman to talk about direct file, and I'll tell you some tips on how to get through this flu season and a lot more. And we start today connecting with some of the upcoming holidays. And even though many people had the day off on Monday, today, February the 19th, is officially President's Day. And it's one of the most significant federal holidays in America, originally established in 1885 to honor George Washington's birthday. This holiday has evolved to celebrate all U.S. presidents, particularly Washington and Abraham Lincoln, whose birthday also falls in February. What makes President's Day particularly interesting is how it's observed across the country. Many retailers have made it famous for sales events, particularly on items like mattresses and furniture, a tradition that began in the 1980s. But beyond the commercial aspect, this holiday serves as an important reminder of our nation's history and leadership. Schools often use this day for educational activities, teaching students about presidential history through projects and presentations. Some communities hold reenactments of famous presidential speeches or organize historical tours. The National Archives and presidential libraries typically host special exhibits and events. There's just a lot of things that happen around President's Day. Like I said, Monday, a lot of people had the day off. It's an opportunity to really, talk about the importance of democracy, to really talk about the role of government, the role of the president, and just to teach our youth, about what the president is, what the government is, what democracy is, and just to have a good opportunity to come to have a conversation around the history of the country. In every aspect of it, recognize where some things could have been better, and just make, as we say, I usually say, if we don't remember history, then we are bound to forget it and repeat it. Moving on to February 21st is when we celebrate National Caregivers Day. This day honors caregivers who dedicate their lives to caring for others, often working long hours in challenging conditions. The COVID-19 pandemic has especially highlighted the crucial role of these professionals play in our society. Caregivers include not just medical professionals, but also family members who provide unpaid care to loved ones. Did you know that there are over 53 million caregivers in the United States? That's roughly 1 in 5 Americans who provide care to an adult or child with special needs. This day serves as a reminder to acknowledge their dedication and perhaps reach out to say thank you to a caregiver in your life. February 23rd is National Toast Day. While it might seem simple, toast has a fascinating history dating back to the ancient times. The word toast comes from the Latin tostum, meaning to burn or scorch. This day celebrates one of the world's most popular breakfast items and comfort foods. Americans consume millions of slices of toast daily, with preferences ranging from classic butter and jam to trendy avocado toast. Some restaurants and cafes offer special toast-based menus on this day, and social media typically lights up with creative toast recipes and presentations. And if you haven't had breakfast yet, I know I'm making you hungry with those videos over there. February 25th brings us National Chocolate Covered Peanuts Day. This beloved snack combination dates back to the 1920s and has become a movie theater staple. The first mass-produced chocolate covered peanuts were introduced by the Goober's brand, and name Goober actually comes from the African word nuba, meaning peanut. The sweet unsalty treat has some interesting nutritional benefits too. Dark chocolate contains antioxidants, while peanuts provide protein and healthy fats. Of course, moderation is key, but this day gives us a perfect excuse to enjoy this classic combination. And the holidays, this type of holidays reflect the diverse fabric of American culture, from serious historical observances to lighthearted food celebrations. Whether you're honoring presidents, thanking caregivers, enjoying creative toast combinations, or treating yourself to chocolate-covered peanuts, each day offers us a unique opportunity to learn, to celebrate, and to connect with others. Holidays don't always need to be a grand celebration, right? Sometimes, and I would say most times, is the simple acts of recognition and enjoyment that make them special. Up next, we have Jasmine from Making Change joining us with our financial wellness segment of the week.
Hi, this is Jasmine Brewer with Making Change. I'm back to give you a few more tips to help you get through next season. So one of the things that happens year round that I want us to be extra cautious about this tax season are scams and fraud. We have to remember that the information that we provide to our tax professionals is extremely personal and distinct information that pertains to us. So there are a few tips and a few things that I want us to keep in mind as we are working through this season to make sure that you protect yourself and your information and your family as you work this tax season. So first, please, by all means, provide your information to only individuals who are with a designated company. So during tax season, there are a number of companies as well as individuals who complete tax returns. But you want to make sure that if you are providing them with your social security number, with your birth date, with your W 2s, that they are with a reputable company. And you can check online to make sure that these organizations are legitimate. And what do I mean when I say check online? So, for example, if you go to Making Changes website, you can see that VITA and tax preparation is something that we do. You can actually go to the IRS website to confirm that Making Change is a tax preparation organization with the IRS. You want to make sure that you do that due diligence before providing that information. Another thing that you want to do is be cautious of organizations or entities because they are for profit and nonprofit that provide these services. Be cautious if there are extreme filing fees. So, one of the things that I love about the work that Making Change does is we have started tracking how much we are able to save taxpayers throughout the time I've been at Making Change. And I'm in year 4, and year by year, that amount continues to increase. So, again, remembering that our tax program through the VITA program, while we do serve folks who earn up to $67,000 a year, but we save taxpayers nearly $94,000 in tax preparation fees. On average, it could cost a taxpayer about $615 to file their tax returns. So just be mindful. Make sure you ask those dollar amounts up front. So then you know how much you have to pay. You don't want to get to the end and you find out about a large tax refund and then you are excited to get the refund, but you forget how much you're paying on the other end. So make sure you find any fees that you have to pay up front. Another thing to be cautious of are the tax refund loan programs that are available. So there are some entities that will offer a loan for the tax refund that is on your tax return once the return is done. But if anything should happen and that refund does not come through, you are responsible for the penalties for that. So what do I mean by that? So, for example, if you go to an entity, a company that says, okay, we've completed your tax return, your refund will be $5,000, we're going to give you a loan for that $5,000 today. If the IRS should find any issue with that tax return, that company can charge you interest on that $5,000. You may actually end up owing instead of receiving the amount. Sometimes it just requires a bit of patience. We know that times are hard, and we want to make sure that you are getting your money as quickly and as soon as possible. On average, the IRS submits or returns refunds to taxpayers once a return has been accepted within 3 weeks. And so that is the period of time typically you have to wait for it, as opposed to the day of you finish your tax return. So just be mindful, be aware of that. Be cautious of, again, if it sounds too good to be true, it might not be. So those are a few of the tips that we want you to be aware of when it comes to thinking about what, ways that you might be taken advantage of so that you can protect yourself and your family during this tax season. Thank you. We'll be back with a few more tips coming.
Thanks to Jasmine and her team. Up next, we have Santiago Carrera joining us with the real estate tip of the week.
This is Santiago Carrera, and this is another tip while you're selling your home. Depersonalize your home. After all, you don't want the potential buyers to be distracted for any family pictures, any trips, or any good memory that you had on your house. So I strongly suggest to remove all personal pictures and depersonalize your home. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week with another tip while you are selling your home.
Thank you to Santiago and his team for that tip of the week. And tax season is here. And last week, I had the honor of interviewing Comptroller Lierman for interview segment of this week. So let's go ahead and watch together as she shares some of the work that she's been doing since taking office 2 years ago, and a new way to file, very exciting new way to file your taxes this year. So just bear with me while I cue the video and have it here ready for you. Just give me 2 seconds. Enjoy. Tax season is here, and I want to make sure that everyone files their taxes safely and on time. That's why today I invited the 34th Comptroller of the state of Maryland, Brooke Lierman, to join me. Comptroller Lierman is the first woman to be independently elected to one of our state's constitutional offices. She's an attorney by training, practicing as a civil rights and disability rights lawyer for many years. And prior to her election as comptroller, she served for 8 years a member of the House of Delegates representing part of Baltimore City. It is truly an honor to have you join me today. Welcome to Conectados, Comptroller Lierman.
It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you for all of your work.
So, before we get into the subject matter of today, which is tax season and how to file taxes, I'd like to hear how the first couple of years in office have been for you. Some of the highlights, some of the work that you've been doing this past 2 years.
That's a great question. I entered the agency. I was the first new comptroller in 16 years. Our previous comptroller was here quite a while. And I had a fantastic transition team that helped to really develop a plan, make sure that we could meet the needs of Marylanders. I've been very focused on really reimagining how this agency can support families, communities, and small businesses across the state. And a big piece of that has meant modernizing. So I inherited very old tech and outdated technology, our tax system, our website. And so we've been focused on putting into place new systems that can really meet the needs and make government work better for people and all Marylanders. So that's one of the things that I've been very focused on and have been working hard. We've got a great new team, including a great public engagement team and New Americans Liaison. And we're doing more public engagement as well, getting out there and publishing reports on important data that we have, including a report on the importance of international immigrants to the economy of Maryland. So I've loved doing this work, feel very lucky to have a great team, but there's much more work to do.
Making government work better for citizens. I love that. I love what you just
Yeah.
said here. And thinking about that and how government can work better, for the people that they're representing, let's talk about taxes, right? And some of the best ways that people can go ahead and file their taxes this year.
So whatever is the method that allows you to file by April 15th is the best method. And I say that just a little bit fast because April 15th is our deadline. And, I don't want to, I want to make sure that people know that whatever method they are able to do, whatever works for you is great with us. I will say though, one of the things we're excited about is, like I said, making government work better. This year, we are offering a better way to file state taxes. And that way is called direct file. And we're really excited about offering direct file. We also have 11 branch offices across the state that are set up to provide tax filing assistance with an appointment. There are also VITA sites. These are volunteer income tax assistance sites, including sites run by the Cash Campaign of Maryland, AARP, and CASA, and more. We have many resources on our website at marylandtaxes.gov/tax toolkit as well.
Vita, you mentioned Vita sites, and we have a weekly segment here with Making Change, and they are, one of
Yep.
those partners, one of those Vita sites.
They are indeed. That's great.
We've been talking about, the services that they offer for everyone here in Howard County, and the opportunities for people to make those appointments and get those taxes filed for little to no money. So make sure you do that. Let's talk about direct file, because I think that's, it's an exciting opportunity for everyone here in Maryland to take ownership for their filing and just get it done. So tell us more about that.
Yes, so Direct File is a partnership program between the IRS, and 25 states are partnering with the IRS to offer Direct File to their residents. We believe that over 850,000 Marylanders will be eligible to use Direct File. Direct File is a system, an online, free, and secure system that allows you to file your tax return for both the federal and state government at the same time. So you'll file your federal one, the information gets pushed through to your state one, and then you file that as well. Direct File is available in English and in Spanish. It's accessible on mobile devices, of course, like cell phones and tablets. And we're really excited to be able to offer this to Marylanders. It really is it's a user-friendly system. And like you said, it's a way that people can really take control and take charge of their own tax filing experience.
And I think it's really important in this day and age where, especially our youth, right? Like they are so technology oriented. I know me, I prefer when I have the opportunity to go and chat with somebody first, somebody who's going to guide me through that technology, and then go and use that technology myself, right? But then our youth, and we want to encourage everyone because, filing your taxes, it's for everyone, and you have to have, depending on your family situation, you have to know whether it's better for you to file by yourself to continue to be independent. Those are conversations that you have to have at home and determine what's that best status for you to file your taxes. But knowing you have different ways in which you can go ahead and accomplish that, I think, at least for me, as an immigrant, somebody who was from Ecuador and had to learn what filing taxes was, what it meant, why I had to do it, and then where.
Yeah.
Right.
I think it can feel scary. And so Direct File is really about trying to lower the burden for people. And we also just want to make sure that people don't pay to file their tax returns. So this is a really good alternative, and people have been so far very pleased with it.
So you have that opportunity to do the Direct File. So check it out. You talked a little bit about having a specific number of Marylanders who are going to be eligible, or you think it's going to be eligible. Tell us a little more about who's eligible to Direct File.
Sure. So generally, direct file is a good option for Maryland residents who have lived in Maryland for all of 2024, earned all of their income in Maryland in 2024, and are, plan to use the same filing status for federal and state returns. It's not income dependent, it's tax type dependent. So folks are 1099, W-2s, things like that. Those are folks who will be able to use direct file.
So we are DMV, and I know some folks, work in different states. They live in Maryland, and
Yep.
maybe they work in DC, or maybe they have small jobs. Like their main job is here in Maryland, but they have small jobs. You just said also that all of your income has to be in Maryland. I just want to emphasize that because I know
Yep.
that might be a question that some people have.
Yeah, and also I encourage people to go check it. There's a really easy screening tool. So folks can go to our website, marylandtaxes.gov/direct file. And there'll be a link to a screening tool that the IRS has. So you can just quickly go on that. You'll go down to Maryland, and then they'll just take you through a few prompts to ask you what you are using, and you'll see if you're eligible or not. So it's very simple.
What do you think people need to prepare in order to properly file their taxes, whether that be with direct file or in general?
Great question. So, first is to make sure that if you want to use direct file, you create an account on the IRS website, at the direct file website. You'll also want to make sure you have a W-2 or 1099, whatever your income requires from your employers, and any receipts if you plan to itemize for charitable donations, mortgage interest, state local taxes, medical and business costs, other tax deductible expenses if you do plan to itemize as well. So, it's pretty simple. You want to have everything that you've earned in one place, and make sure that you have that ready before you start filing a return.
And then Comptroller Lierman, I know that the question in a lot of people's mind is, so once I file my taxes, how soon am I going to receive my refund?
Sure. Well, it's a good question. Usually about 90% of our personal income tax refunds are processed, or returns rather, are processed in 2.5 days or less. However, processing it, and then we get it ready and we mail it out, or it goes into a line to hit a direct deposit. So generally it's, within just a few days. The longest 10% of refunds took 30 days in 2024, which was down from 2023, where it took 41 days. So we try to get them out fast. No other state does it this fast. We're the only state that gets things out, same week. And that, of course, is everything's correct. Sometimes, folks make a little mistake here. We send that to our error corrections department so they can figure it out. But in general, the vast majority of returns are processed in 2.5 days or less.
So that's really important for you to know, because I know that that's a question that a lot of us have once we file our taxes, is like, okay, when can I expect to see,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And it's important to understand the process, and it's important to understand the timeline so that you're not taken advantage of, so that you are prepared, so that wherever you go to file your taxes, you know what to expect. You have realistic information, you have good information. Another question because I know that many people probably wonder, well, why do I have to pay taxes? Like I want to keep all of my money. Why do I have to have those deductions come off? Or if I
Yep.
am in business by myself, why do I need to go back now and give some of my money, right? Like that I earned, that I worked so hard for. Why do Marylanders should file their taxes? Why is it so important?
Yeah, it's a really important question. In some ways, it's a philosophical question, right? We've created this social compact, right, where we all chip in based on our ability to pay, to maintain our public infrastructure, to maintain our public schools, to make sure we have public safety officers, and to make sure, we have infrastructure, electricity and whatnot, So I think we have health for people. So we, all of these taxes, these taxes are going to maintain the world as we know it, right? Make sure that if you own a store, we want to make sure that folks can drive to your store and that there are stoplights functioning, right? If if you're a doctor and you're paying taxes, well, we want to make sure that folks who are lower income have access to Medicaid so that they can afford to go see you and get the healthcare that they need. All of us have kids. I personally send my kids to public school, and I'm a public school graduate, Maryland public school graduate myself, and so really believe in our public school system and making sure that we can provide for kids and get them ready to be the future workforce and future entrepreneurs. So these are all the reasons that we all chip in to make sure society can continue to function.
It's really important for all of us to do our part and to really understand, the impact that we have. This is a way that we directly impact our community. If we file our taxes, if we go in and do our part, like, Comptroller Lierman was saying, if we just chip in, if we do our part, if we go and file our taxes, we are helping our communities thrive in every aspect. I mean, you talked about safety, education, health, like every transportation, every single aspect. Taxes touch it. And I know that usually when it's tax season, people cringe a little bit and it's like, oh, why is tax season again? It feels like this heavy, but it doesn't have to be that. And, the controller's office is doing everything they can to make it user friendly, to make sure that we have access to them, that we understand, what it is that we need to do, how it is that we need to file, what are we filing, what are deductions, what is this, what is that. Like, they're trying to be very accessible to us. So I invite you all to go to their website to get information, to really understand the importance of you filing your taxes, doing it on time so that you don't have to overpay and pay fees, for late. And so that you do pay the part that you have to pay, but at the same time, if you have any returns that you pay, that you get those returns back to you. You talked about, a lot of itemizing, and I know that can get confusing. And so, I'm wondering, like, if people are sitting there and thinking, okay, I'd like to try this direct file, but at the same time, I'd like to have a little bit of information. Where can people go for assistance if they need assistance filing their taxes?
Great question. Well, like I started off with, folks can go to one of our 11 branch offices across the state, where we provide this tax filing assistance. Go to a VITA site or check out our website, this marylandtaxes.gov/tax toolkit to find more information.
And I will have those links and all of that information for you on screen and on the comments here so you can go and check it out. Thank you so much for your time. Just like to ask you to leave all of us with, a message, something that you want us to take from our conversation today to just keep us going through as we get to tax season and beyond.
I think just making sure that that eligible Marylanders can increase their refund with the earned income tax credit and the child tax credit. So the EITC, as we call it, and the child tax credit are really powerful and important tax credits that both the federal government and Maryland have. And so just really encourage folks to find out if they're eligible, look them up, claim them on their returns. Folks may not even owe any taxes, but if you qualify for the EITC, we will send you a check. You will get back. And the EITC is a really important opportunity for working Marylanders to make sure that they can benefit and get a little extra in their pocket to send their kids to camp or, take community college classes or, maybe buy a new used car or something. So or pay down their bills. So really encourage folks to check out the earned income tax credit as well. Finally, I'll just say we're focused on modernizing and making things work better. And we're always open to feedback and just really appreciate your outreach today and leadership that you're showing by getting this information out to people. We're here to serve Maryland.
Thank you so much for your leadership. Thank you so much for making this world of taxes accessible to everyone, because I know that it feels distant, it feels cold, it feels like, like the boogeyman is coming to get you, the tax man is coming to get you. But here we have, friendly people who have a smile, who are there for us and just want us to really understand what taxes are all about, how they impact our life. I mean, you just talked about, community college, you talked about buying a car, you talked about sending our kids to camp. Like, it's real life. It's people working for people right here in Maryland in our tax system. So thank you so much for your time, for all the work that you and everyone in your team is doing for us.
My pleasure. Thank you. Onwards.
We will be right back with a little more of Conectados in just a second. We are back with Conectados and our weekly, this is our weekly space to connect with resources, information, most importantly with one another. I am your host, Cris Oviedo. And I want to remind you that faith makes all things possible, hope makes all things easy, and love makes all things work. Um, you know, I felt compelled to talk to you about ways in which you can protect yourself from the flu today, how to recover properly. And this is because we recently, and we're still, I guess, we're in the recovery process now here at home. But influenza A paid us a visit, and it actually got my husband pretty good. But he's doing better, and just recently, it seems like everybody that I speak to, everybody that I talk to, has had an encounter or knows somebody. Like when I told people that my husband was sick, they were like, "Oh, he probably has, the virus that's going on right now." So it seems like it's very prevalent right now, and it is very cold today here in Maryland. So we're not even, I think the highest day is not even 30. So it's a cold day. But as we continue to get through this flu season and through the winter, I want to start talking about prevention, which is our first line of defense against the flu. The most effective preventive measure is getting annual flu shot. The CDC recommends this for everyone 6 months and older. Now, I know the ideal October deadline is way past, but it's never too late to get vaccinated. So if you haven't gotten yours yet, please don't wait. Go get vaccinated today. Now, beyond vaccination, here are key preventive practices. You can wash your hands frequently with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. You can use alcohol-based hand sanitizers when soap isn't available. Please avoid touching your face, especially your mouth, your nose, and your eyes. Keep your distance from people who are sick. Maintain a healthy lifestyle with proper sleep, nutrition, and exercise. And clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces like doorknobs, counters, and cell phones. I know our cell phones they go with us everywhere. If we eat, we have them with us. If we exercise, we have them with us. Many of us, if we go to the bathroom, we have them with us, right? If we go to work, if we go to the supermarket, everywhere we go. How often are you cleaning that cell phone? I invite you to think about it. And, if you haven't cleaned it in a while, maybe it's time to go and get that done. Remember, prevention isn't just about protecting yourself. It's about protecting your loved ones and your community, especially those who are most vulnerable to severe flu complications. Now, if you do get the flu, early recognition of symptoms is crucial. And the common flu symptoms include sudden onset of fever and chills, body aches and fatigue, cough and sore throat, runny and stuffy nose, headaches, occasional stomach symptoms. Now, once you recognize the symptoms, this is what you do, right? First, please stay at home. I know that's the hardest thing to do. I know that I am, for me, that's the problem. Stay home. Like I have to be really, really, really sick to stay home because there's just so much that we need to do. but it's really important to prevent the spreading of the virus to others. Most people can safely recover from the flu at home, but certain groups should contact their healthcare provider immediately, including adults 65 years and older, pregnant women, people with chronic medical conditions, young children, and anyone with severe symptoms. So if you can, please stay at home. If you cannot, I encourage you to wear a mask. I encourage you to, like we said, try avoid touching things. Don't be so close to other people. Those are some of the recommendations if you are sick and you have to be out. Now, if you are staying home, try this care tips. Rest as much as possible. Stay hydrated with water, clear broths, and other clear fluids. Use over-the-counter pain relievers for fever and aches. Run a humidifier to ease breathing. Also try the throat lozenges for sore throat, and monitor your temperature. So it's really, really important that you stay up top of your symptoms, that you watch them closely, because this unfortunately can turn into something more serious, and then you may need to be hospitalized. So keep a lookout on your symptoms. Make sure that you are getting better, that you're not staying or getting worse. And if you are, please immediately contact your health provider if you have one. And if you don't, please visit the doctor's office, or the ER, or an urgent care center. It's really, really important that you take care of yourself. Please know the warning signs that require immediate medical attention, like difficulty breathing, chest pain, severe muscle pain, dehydration, confusion, fever or cough that improves but then returns or worsens. I have to be very honest with you. I tend to be the person who brings their loved one, whether that be my husband, my mom, my kids, or anyone. I'd rather bring them sooner rather than later. I'd rather the doctor tell me, go home. There's nothing to worry about. You're an exaggerated, right? Like, I prefer to listen to that rather than hear, why didn't you come sooner? So I know that it feels a little maybe even silly to admit, but I've always been that person since my kids were born. Since my kids were born at the smallest thing, because they're the people that I love the most in this world. So I'd rather pass for a fool for bringing them too soon, or for bringing them when there's nothing going on, than be the fool who lets things progress to the point where now they're super sick and now we have to do other things. So that's just who I am. I encourage you to be a fool with me and take care of your family sooner rather than later. Now, after the acute phase of the flu, proper recovery is essential. Please do not rush back to your normal routine. A gradual return is key. You don't want to have a setback. You don't want to have, feel better and then go and do too much, have a setback, and then have that turn into something worse. During recovery, please continue to rest and hydrated. Hydration is super important when you're sick. Eat nutritious foods to rebuild your strength. Start light activities only when you feel ready. Monitor for any warning symptoms. Wait at least 24 hours after your fever breaks before returning to work or school. And remember, flu season doesn't have to derail your life. By following these prevention strategies, and knowing how to care for yourself when sick and allowing proper recovery time, you can minimize the impact of the flu on your health and daily activities. And to learn more about the flu, or if you'd like to get your flu shot, you can visit the Howard County Health Department website at howardcountymd.gov and search for the flu clinics. I have the schedule right there on screen for you. You can also call them at 410-313-7500 to verify availability and all information. And I'm putting that for you, both the link to their site and their phone number on the comments, so you can get in touch with them if you need to. And I close Conectados today wishing you good health and happiness. Thanking you for joining me every Wednesday at 9 a.m. and in English, and Fridays at 9 a.m. in Spanish. If you have topic ideas, if you have suggestions, if you have comments, please email them to me at info@crisoviedo.com. I will drop that email on the comments as well so that you have it and you can reach out to me. That's info@crisoviedo.com. Also, if you know of someone, a family member, it could be a neighbor, it could be a teacher, it could be a coworker, it could be, I don't know, anyone in your faith community, anyone in your sports community, anyone in our community whose story you think everyone should know about. And this doesn't have to be anything grand. Simply, somebody that you admire because they're resilient, because they get up every day to go to work, because they are people of faith. Whatever the case may be, somebody that you feel that people should know a little bit more about, please reach out to me. Let me know, because I'd like to start telling stories about our neighbors and about our people here in our community. So reach out, info@crisoviedo.com, and let me know whose story should I be telling here on Conectados. Thank you so much today for being with me today. If you found the information valuable, please share it with others so that they too may benefit from it. Thank you for watching. And until next time, I'm Cris Oviedo, and I'll see you next Wednesday in English, and I'll see you Friday in Spanish. Reach out to others and invite them to join me as well. Thank you. Bye-bye.